Welcome to SRG Insights, where we answer your questions about sales, sales management, and sales training topics. And today's question is,
Marianne Scott, MBA asks, with today's business landscape constantly changing, for example, new products, competition, changing workforce, boomers retiring, millennials moving up, and pressures to achieve sales targets, company goals, how do you make more informed, confident hiring decisions?
well, that's a really great question, and one that's really insightful in terms of how important that is to the organization. One that we see that the cost of a bad sales hire can really be exponential in terms of the impact on the organization. Not only is that the cost of hiring, training, recruiting, bringing that person up to speed, but you also have the time it takes them to really hit their stride or become productive. And if they don't work out, the time that territory is going underserviced or underutilized. So it really is a costly and an important decision, and one, unfortunately, I don't think we pay enough attention to in terms of what we're looking for. So in terms of asking that question, how do we improve our success of hiring? I think it really starts with the first question of asking, what does a successful rep look like in our organization? This idea of a top performer analysis, I think, is really important, where we look at first identifying what the group of top performers are. That's not just who's meeting their quota, but who's really demonstrating those behaviors that we're looking for in the organization. Who's got the best win rates, who's got the best cycle times, who's really improving the opportunities to expand the accounts. So we want to look at a number of different factors, identify who those top performers are, and then really look at the personal qualities that they're demonstrating in the organization and their experience and attributes that they bring that are making them successful. I think in this way we can build the profile of an ideal candidate that's much different than just saying, well, hire somebody who looks like that person, or hire somebody like the sales manager or the sales VP. Because as we know, without criteria and a little more rigor applied to the process, we tend to hire people that look like ourselves, and that isn't necessarily the best approach. So I would really, once we've done that top performer analysis, want to break that down into an ideal profile. And this is more than a typical just recruiting job description. It's going to look at the experience, the skills, and the knowledge, but it is also going to look at those personal behaviors and those attributes that we want to see demonstrated in the candidate. Once we've built that profile, we can screen for it, and then using behavioral-based interviewing questions, that's going to be the best way we can see if the person has actually demonstrated those qualities in the past. So we take a STAR interviewing technique, situation, task, action, and result, as a way of asking questions to get underneath the surface, get to those underlying behaviors, and see if they've really demonstrated those things in the past. So for instance, we may decide that integrity is really important. Well, let's ask a question that gets to a situation where they had to demonstrate their integrity. Perhaps it was a situation where their boss put them in an uncomfortable situation where they had to go against their ethics. What did they do? How did they respond to that? Let's understand the situation, let's understand the actions that they took and the results that came out of that, and how they responded and what the end result was. So I'm a fan of the idea of looking for passion and perseverance. It's one of the things that's being referred to as grit these days. So let's find out, where do they demonstrate passion in the past? That may be on a project, that may be in their education, that may be on their job, but where did they really demonstrate that? What was the situation? What were the tasks, actions, and results? Or where did they have to persevere and overcome adversity, and how did they demonstrate that? I think by asking these types of behavioral-based interviewing questions, we can really get a better idea of the full picture of the candidate, see if they've demonstrated those attributes in the past, and they're more likely to really demonstrate those in the future. I think one of the key questions we should be asking in any interviewing and hiring situation is this person really a fit for the team and the organization? Because I think that is as much an indicator of whether they're going to be successful as some of the other attributes, such as their education and their experience and background. So again, we want to look for those top performers, see what they're doing. We want to build that ideal profile, and ultimately we want to build those behavioral-based interviewing questions that help us identify if they've demonstrated those attributes in the past. Thank you.